this is Glendon, and this is your Monday morning pep talk. Many people run for failure and they become despondent. They really put themselves down because you had this goal, you had this objective, and you didn't achieve it, and you feel like you're not worthy to breathe oxygen anymore. Let me explain something to you, as Ricky Ricardo would say with Lucy. Let me explain it to you, Lucy. Failure is part of the process. The people who fail the most are the most successful. There's different schools of thoughts, but I am from the school of thought of failure makes you successful. Not so much as failing fast, but failing, picking yourself up after the failure, learning the lessons that you need to learn, and steadily pushing forward. That is what makes you successful. Not just failing or failing fast, but failing. Picking yourself up. You have to pick yourself up before you can move forward. Learning the lessons, then moving forward with that new information. Right now, it's a crazy, crazy time in the resale game. There's so many things that are going on. There's so many people getting in there. It's like, what did I do? There's new people coming out. The veterans are mad. There's all this stuff that's going on in what I call the trash to cash space. And what are you going to do? If you come up with a plan, you take care of your customers, and you run your business like a business, you're going to be okay. Are you going to become rich? I don't know. Some of you will, most of you won't. But you're going to be better off than that person who's just going out there on a whim, trying to make it with no education, no research, just a wing and a prayer and some good looks and charm. That will only get you so far. You really need to learn some things. You are going through some very hard times. People are playing games with you. Your sales may be down. Folks are looking at you kind of crazy because you got in the resale game. But take heart. This is all part of the grand plan. To get to the good stuff, often you have to go through some long days, some long nights, and a period of adversity. While you're going through it, it pretty much just sucks. It sucks. I'm not going to blow smoke up your ass going, oh, it's the best thing in the world for you. Because at the time, it is not the best thing in the world. You can become depressed. You can even doubt yourself. But it's part of a process of becoming a better you. One of the things that I've learned, and many of the things that I thought were, for the lack of a better word, a pure catastrophe of my life, actually are the very things that made me the person that I am today. It's more than what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. It's what you deal with makes you better. Because some things they can happen to you, and you can actually be much worse of a person. You become bitter, disenfranchised, not enjoying life, and really the most devastating of all, you fail to trust people. And everything that we do, have, and earn or be usually is somehow affiliated with other people. So if you get to the point where you close yourself off from the world, even though you survived that horrendous event, whatever it may be, you're not necessarily a better person for it, or actually you may even be weaker versus stronger. What I'm talking about is when something happens, you actually deal with it. Dealing with it is looking it in the eye and saying, all right, this is what happened from an honest perspective. Part of being an entrepreneur, or getting in the resale game, or buying storage units, or picking, or doing any type of endeavor that takes you off the beaten path, there's a lot of risk involved, and with the risk comes a lot of anxiety. But understand, everybody, myself included, when I started on YouTube, I was terrified when I did these videos. Now it doesn't bother me so much, but I know I'm going to put something out that's going to be a stinker, and that's life, but I have to deal with it. In terms of you being able to pick yourself up, you have to understand that failure is part of the plan. It's not an accident. It isn't suspect. It doesn't mean you're stupid. It doesn't mean that you're not worthy. It is part of the plan, because I want you to think about this. When you were born and you were growing, you failed every day. When you were trying to walk, you failed several times. You tried to get up, you fell down. You tried to walk, you stumbled. This went on for a period of weeks to months. But because no one said you're failing and you've got all the encouragement in the world from your parents. It's like, come on, Pookie, come on, Snookums, you can do it, get up, that's it, take that step. Encouragement, encouragement, encouragement. Now that you're older, you have to give that type of encouragement to yourself. Part of being an entrepreneur is filling up your gas tank with energy and enthusiasm, if you remember that, and just doing these things to keep yourself pumped up, because if you don't, you're going to fall to the wayside, and it doesn't have to be that way. So number one, forget about immediate gratification. That will kill you. Understand, any business that you're in is going to take 2 to 5 years for it to mature and really throw off the cash you need. That's just a proven fact. Don't believe me? Look it up. Happens. We watch these internet businesses and people become like, wow, I'm going to create a business on Tuesday, and by Wednesday of the next month I'm going to sell to Google for 350 million, cash out, buy me a Ferrari. That happens, but it's rare. It's not the norm. The real deal is a company is in existence for 2 to 5 years. Then at that point it may get bought by Google or make a little more money, or the owners are growing their business. That's the thing. But one of the reasons that you feel like you're a failure is not so much what's happening to you, it's what you think you should be. It's where you think you should be because you did X, Y, and Z. And the journey of an entrepreneur is a very lonely one. So one of the things that helped me was I talked to other entrepreneurs, and I found out that I wasn't such a weird duck. And that's how I actually found out that I was actually ahead of the curve, because one of the things you have to do is pull yourself out the vacuum and talk to other people, talk to other business owners, and you'll find out that what you thought was really bad is actually on point, because your perspective is deeper. You have to deepen your perspective, because if your perspective is that thin and something bad happens to you, you may actually make it to be something worse than it really is, because you have nothing to base it on to compare and contrast it against. I was guilty of that. That's why I tell all of you, if you're going to be in business, get yourself a subscription to Inc. magazine, Fast Company, go to the Harvard Business Review, read the blogs. There's this great website that I really like, Admit. I will teach you to be rich.com. Tons of great information there on how to be a freelancer, which, is just being self-employed. A lot of information there. You have to have what I call continuing success education. One of the things that I just realized is I paid a lot of money for my education in terms of the Nightingale Conant tapes. And back when I first started listening to them, this was the deal. They would send it to you for 30 days free of charge. If you liked it, then you paid. That's how good they thought their product was. And I realized that I probably spent $1,000 on those tapes. And then when I started getting the CDs, I spent probably another $1,500. Anywhere from Earl Nightingale, which is my favorite, Lead the Field. I love Brian Tracy, and there was a vocabulary course, and there was a goal setting course, and I spent like $2,500 on these tapes that taught me how to do certain things. And that's why I have the audacity to charge what I charge for my products, because I think they're cheap. Because if you apply the principles, you do stuff, you will make more money than you're making now. And that's kind of the thing. When you get into the habit of paying for your education, things that most people think are expensive are really cheap, because you're going to get more bang for your buck. Because the last thing I bought was the Earl Nightingale Lead the Field CD set. It was $99, and I've had that CD set for 10 years. And I still listen to it occasionally. Money well spent. I will say it again. No one at Nightingale Conant is paying me, but get a copy of Lead the Field by Earl Nightingale, whether it's on the audio cassettes or the CD. It is one of the best courses about how to gear your mindset to making money for businesses. It is the best thing, and you have to pay for your education. All this stuff of, I'm going to get it free, and I'm going to do these great things, is bullshit. You're not going to do anything with it because you don't respect it. If someone came up on the street, broad daylight, and tried to hand you a check for $1 million that was legit, most people would turn it down because they're like, why would someone hand me $1 million? I didn't do anything to earn it. I didn't do anything to deserve it. Like that commercial with Ally Bank. They give a stranger $100,000 to watch it, and most people, they don't take the money because they're like paranoid. They're like, no, this ain't right. So understand, you have to pay for your education, which is part of the things that will keep you up when things are down. Will actually make sure that you have more of a better mindset, a much better mindset when you're dealing with adversity, because understand, when you have a business, adversity is not a case of when, adversity is not a case of if, it's a matter of when. Something's going to happen. And if you predicate yourself on handling chaos versus only the good times, you're going to be a much better business person, and you're going to be happier. You're going to be much, much happier. So that's the thing for it. This